So let's take a seat. All right. So we have a video to play?
Yeah, so I want to set this up by saying this is amazing. Thank you so much to GTCO Bank for having me. This is such a privilege to be in the motherland. Being here for the first time in Lagos has been amazing. I've already called my husband, told him that we might be moving here. So that might happen. But it's beautiful. You all have been so welcoming. But I wanted to start it off by saying, like, this is a big dream of mine. Just seeing my face on these walls and around is wild. I might get emotional. I dreamed of doing this and telling stories on a big level. And so one of the things I wanted to show on screen is this video of me as a little girl kind of talking about wanting moments like this. So we should play that video.
All right, let's cue the first video. All right, here we go.
The volume. So cute. So I don't know if you could hear that. Oh my God, I want to cry. I'm saying like Julee Wilson, I can see it now, like my name in the lights, right? And then this next video, we're going to talk about this in our conversation, about my journey from that to this next video, where I'm doing something. Go ahead.
I think something that the world might get wrong is the appropriation of our beauty. It's ours. Our beauty is worthy of praise. It's worthy of celebration. I know that the world is going to catch up to our dopeness. We can build empires around Black beauty. I'm very encouraged about the spaces that we're creating, and the world is going to see how just magnificent we are. We're magical. I'm Julee Wilson, and I'm the beauty director at Cosmopolitan.
So, yes, thank you. So that was a national commercial that played in the United States that I did with Ulta Beauty when I was pregnant with my second son. And it's just full circle now. And the fact that I can be in Africa, in Lagos, here, talking about the work that I do is just magical. So thank you so much again for having me. And we can talk about this life. You can see some pictures of my family, my husband, my sons up there while we talk.
Hello, hello. All right. So being a beauty editor at Cosmo magazine is a huge responsibility. I mean, you guys know the brand Cosmo. You know they stand for the forefront of everything that is cool and hip to a certain demographic. And we also know that Black people, you know, in the abroad, Black people are somewhat of a minority. So to have someone who is our skin color and working for such a national, global brand that represents everything that's supposed to be fashionable and chic is a huge deal. So that's what I want to talk to you about,
Yeah.
right? First of all, let's start off with how you got into this space that you're working in, beauty, journalism. Let's start at the very somewhat beginning.
Somewhat beginning. I'll give you an abbreviated version, but basically I was like, I guess I'm gonna have to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, one of those things. I'm sure that is like a collective thing that a lot of us think, like, let me have this big job. My parents would love if I was a doctor. I quickly realized that I didn't like blood. So I was like, I'm not going to be a doctor. I don't necessarily want to be a teacher or lawyer, but I loved words. I loved putting together words. I loved stories. So I was like, let me do that. So I did a lot of internships at Vibe magazine.
Do you guys know Vibe magazine?
Vibe magazine, Condé Nast Traveler magazine, all of these places to get my foot in the door.
Ooh, Essence, can we say Essence too? She also worked at Essence. You guys know Essence as well.
Yeah, Essence, shout out to Essence. And so for me, the problem with publishing is they don't take the best and the brightest of the class. Like you don't just like, oh, I'm gonna be a banker, like the bank might hire, 100 people a year. Magazines have a masthead. They're a position. So you have to wait for someone to leave in order to get that job. So it's very hard to get a job at a magazine.
Turn by turn.
Yes.
Turn by turn.
And I started in fashion. But fashion, in America, I'm like a big girl. Like, it was like, you're too big, you're too black, like, it was too much. So I started to get more into beauty, and I loved it. I felt like I could make change in beauty. Beauty was more nimble for change, especially when it comes to our community, to black people, so.
And just for clarification's sake, not that you guys don't know what beauty is, but can you tell us exactly what the nature of beauty is? Are you talking about just makeup, or is it makeup, skincare, and hair, or is it makeup, skincare, and hair, and
everything?
Okay.
Everything from head to toe, self-care, lotions, potions, makeup, hair, whatever it is. But beyond the product, because I do talk about product, beyond the product, I talk about the culture of beauty. I talk about, there is something called the Crown Act in the United States, where the way in which our hair grows out of our head is illegal in, I think now 28 or 27 states in the United States.
Can you say that one more time?
The way our hair grows out of our head could be deemed illegal. So like a job could say, you can't have braids, you can't have an afro, it's legal for them to be able to say that. So the Crown Act is trying to make it illegal for you to put in place a law that would discriminate us against our natural hair. So that's also what I write about. So it's not just about products, which are fun and great, and I talk about makeup artists or John, like whoever, but I also talk about politics, and I also talk about how beauty affects our lives in general, not just looking fly.
Because the way people look can be quite political. Fashion, beauty, art, all of that has such a strong representation. Someone wears a crazy outfit, it's like, oh, okay, you have personality. Someone has a big afro, it's like, oh, okay, you like to take care of your hair, you're proud about it. So could you talk to us about how important it is to represent black in national publications, or even African, because we were talking about that disconnect, but how important is it to represent people that look like us in a space where people don't look like us?
It's really important. Look, when I was at Essence is for the black community, black people. So I always said, I celebrate, when people had asked, what do you do at Essence? I'm like, I celebrate the dopeness of black women every single day. Like, I get to get up every day. Okay? I was like, that's what I get to do all day. I write stories about how dope we are, right? And so when Cosmo called and said, is this a job that you'd want to apply to? I was like, absolutely. I love the magazine, I love the brand, but I was so unapologetic about, in that interview, I was like, look, I celebrate blackness and how beautiful, how beyond beautiful we are every day. I understand I'm now coming into a white space. If you don't, what I want to do is tell black stories. And I literally, in my interview, was like, I need to be black, black, blackity black. If y'all don't want that, cool. I have a job at Essence. If you want that level of storytelling, if you want that, if you want me to bring the black girl magic to Cosmo, then let's go. And I'm telling you, this is a white editor-in-chief I'm talking to, and she was like, let's go.
I love it.
And they've allowed me to be me, fully me, and tell black stories in a very white space. And I do that unapologetically with my whole chest, and in a way that hopefully, in a way that hopefully makes my community, my people proud, because I'm not gonna sit at this extra white table and then just like cower away and not say the things. I have to be able to tell the stories. There's small fights that you don't even see when I'm doing like stories. Like I did a silk press story. So, we wear our hair all different ways, but in the United States, when it gets like cool, we wear silk presses year round, but I was like, I want to do a silk press story in the fall because less humidity, we want to be like, our hair to be flowing, and so I was like, I'm going to do a silk press story, and the editor was editing it, and she was like, will you explain what a silk press is? And I was like, I don't think I have to explain that. I was like, we don't explain every single time you say blowout for the white woman in the magazine. Like, I'm not writing this story to educate white people.
You're
I'm writing this story for the
know.
black girl that's reading the story who wants to know how to achieve the best silk press at home. She already knows what a silk press is. This is not for the white reader's gaze. This is distinctly, I'm writing stories for black folk.
Yeah.
Black and brown people. So those are the little things that you don't see. You open the magazine and you read the silk press story, you didn't know that there was an editor in the office making sure to fight for the fact that, like, I didn't have to over-explain what a silk press was in that page.
Yeah. And, you know, I guess it kind of goes over our head. We're very blessed to live in Nigeria, in Africa. We look around and we see people who look like us, different shades of black, different shades of brown.
Yeah, I've been seeing, like, I know there are probably some white people in here, I don't know. But I've been seeing white people here. I'm like, are you lost? I'm like, I was like, it's been so weird to see like white people here.
And they are.
In Africa.
Because we are a very well-kept secret. Yeah, you know, there's a huge expat community out here. And people have found that Lagos is really lit, right? This is the place to be
it's
at.
Lit.
But what I was saying was, we take it for granted being in Africa or on the continent when we look around and everyone kind of looks like us. I know we have different ethnicities. There's the Yoruba, there's the Hausa, there's the Igbo, but for the most part, we look the same, right? So we understand what we're talking about to a general extent. But in the abroad, it's like, there's a whole different race, you know? There's different races that don't look like us. So they're not really used to the stories that we have, maybe the way that we wear our hair, the issues that we have with creaming our body when it's cold outside and we get ashy. You know, there's differences between the white and the black, and it's important to highlight the individuals who have taken it on their backs to make sure that those stories are told, those stories are understood, because people like Julee actually make it easier for them to digest our African stories. You get? You know, they're used to it, they're receptive of Africa, and just things that are different from what they're used to.
Yeah.
So, after that long spiel, I want to ask you about some of your career highlights and lowlights, because we like to keep it real here, right? It's not always rosy. I'm sure you've had to do a lot of those battles behind the scenes. So, some of the good and the bad.
Yeah, I mean, the good is that I'm unapologetically taking up space and telling our stories, right? It's not easy, to the point I made, but it is rewarding to know that, like, if, again, I do have this seat at the table, I'm able to do that. I mean, the bad stuff is when, like, you know, it's holding, like, companies and people accountable for not seeing us, right? Like, I've been very unapologetic about saying, actually it was a little controversial, I'll show you later, there's this article where Lindsay Peoples, who's an amazing journalist, she's the editor-in-chief of The Cut magazine from New York Magazine, The Cut, so it's like the fashion arm of New York Magazine. She did this big article where she interviewed like basically all the black people in fashion and beauty and asked them what it was like to work in the industry. And I said, I was one of the people that was I got a little
Were you too honest?
I got a little buck. I was a little too honest, but I said the bar is set so high for me to get the type of job that I have because I have to know everyone's beauty. I have to be able to write about a blonde-haired, blue-eyed beauty. I have to present that in my interviews. I have to be able to write those stories. But like my white counterparts, they're not held to that standard. They don't have to know. But black people read those publications too. If you stop a white editor on the street, a beauty editor on the street and say, run me the best 5 edge controls. What are the best 5 edge curls? Or what are the best curl creams for my type of hair? And they're standing there like, I don't know, then you shouldn't have your job. Yeah. Because black people read your publication and you need to know about my beauty just as much as I need to know about your beauty.
Fair enough.
So black people run circles. We can run circles around them because we're writing about everything. And then when it comes to like a black issue, like, oh, we want to do a box braid story. They're like, okay, Julie will do it. Like, and I'm like, that's fine. I'll do it proudly because I love some knotless box braids, and like it is such a representation of our culture. But I also need you to know about it, because you're not just going to pass off everything to the black person in the room. You, having the job as an editor at this huge publication, need to know about my beauty too, not just the beauty that's reflected in the mirror, because I have to know everyone's.
Yeah, very well said. All right, so
Period.
So I'm guessing that's a career medium. Tell us about the highs. Tell us about the
The
highs.
highs, okay. I work with superstars, and like,
Just to pause you, is it the latest edition of Cosmo with Lotto on it? When did the Lotto edition?
Lotto was the September cover.
Okay, do you guys know the rapper named Lotto? You don't know Lotto?
Y'all don't know Lotto?
Come on, I don't even know. Kai, I'm so old.
Literally, raise your hand if you know Lotto.
Okay.
Oh, no, Lotto here. Lotto needs to come out
I
here.
know her music, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Otherwise, I would.
It's giving
rap
boss
right now.
It's giving. She sings It's Giving. She had that song.
She has a song with David O. There we go. The Unavailable remix. You guys heard of that? I'm on Ave. The American girl that's singing with David O. That's Lotto.
But you know the song "Rip Me Out the Plastic." I've been acting brand new.
Yeah. That's with Cardi B. Cardi B.
With Cardi B.
Put it on the floor.
Put it on the
There we
floor.
go.
Anyway, amazing. I just did something with her. Oh, they're going through some of my work, but we'll show you that cover later. But the highs are I get to work with amazing people. I mean, I've
There we
worked
go.
with Oprah and
Oprah.
Michael B. Jordan. I've worked with Kelly Rowland. I've worked, I mean, you name it, I've like worked, Yvonne Orji, like, superstars, Beyonce, like, I get to interact with people that I really look up to. Even Jordan Dunn, who you'll see tomorrow.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I was at dinner with her last night, and I said, we've never met, but I've actually like written about you and like pulled up the stories that like, look, it's so full circle.
Yeah.
My first story I wrote about her was 12 years ago, and I pulled it up on my phone, and I was like, look, and now we're getting to meet in Africa. It's wild. But even like with the Lotto, you'll see the Lotto cover later, but the fun part, to your point, is not only working with these people, but doing really cool things with them. So our cover stories at Cosmo especially, we should do, like, we like to do activities with them, right? Because it breaks down the barrier. It doesn't feel so like transactional. Like, you want to get to know someone and like get familiar with them before you start asking them hard-hitting questions, right? So I did a cover story with SZA.
Woo!
SZA and I did yoga together.
Yeah.
And then with Lotto, we actually got naked together, and I don't know, if you know who Lotto is, her body is a wonderland. So, and my body, I love my body, but it is not the wonderland that hers is. And we got naked together and got couples massages.
Nice.
And it's just so cool that I, as a storyteller, get to do things like that. I'm literally laying naked with a whole international superstar and interviewing her as we're getting a couples massage together.
And getting to write about it. Tell the
Getting
whole
to
world
write about it. It's so cool. Like, that's an awesome part of like what I get to do.
Man, I want your job.
Come hang with me.
You know, I'm gonna make sure that she packs me in her suitcase when she leaves. But before that, do you have any advice for individuals out there? I don't know how many of you guys are in the fashion world or in the beauty, influencer industry, beauty products, where you have to talk about products and you have to find the coolest new thing. I know within the Nigerian space, there's a lot of beauty influencers out there because, I mean, like I said, there's so many different versions of us, so that makes it quite competitive. How does one distinguish themselves in the beauty and fashion space in a saturated situation? Like, what
This
do
is
you
the best
advise?
advice. This is the best advice I can give you, is be yourself. Don't try to be anyone else. Don't look at someone and be like, oh, it works for them. They have 1 million followers and like they're doing that. Let me replicate what they're doing. I'm telling you, the second, and I'm guilty of it too. Early on in my career, I was like, oh, she's so pretty. She wears that. She does this. She does this on her Instagram. I should do it. Like, the second I let that go and I was just Julie, and if you follow me on the internet, which you should because it's hijinks and shenanigans, that I am very unapologetic about what I do. Yes, I get to do amazing things and hang out with really cool people and celebrities, but I also talk about being a mom and being like, I have no clean underwear, so I guess I'm gonna have to wear this bathing suit under my clothes.
Ooh, you do that?
I've just been so busy that I haven't done laundry, and like, this is what I have to do. But people really respect me and like value me for that, because they're always saying to me like, thank you for being so real. We know that this isn't all paved in like silver, like gold and like diamonds. Like, it takes a lot of work. I tell people too, like, sure, I get to sit there and like, I did one of my favorite cover stories was with Tracee Ellis Ross. Do you guys know who Tracee Ellis Ross is?
Oh yes, from Girlfriend.
Amazing. She's an amazing actress. She's a founder of the hair care company Pattern. Yep. And she was created in a whole icon, Diana Ross.
Diana Ross's daughter, y'all.
Yeah. I literally said to her, I was like, what was it like being in your mother's womb? Was it crusted in diamonds? Like, what was that?
Music all
like,
the time.
Was there music all the time? But I had such an amazing time with her. We're jumping on a bed together after I interviewed her. But what people don't see is like, I now have to go home and I have to write that story. The pressure, the anxiety of that like I have to sit there now with the whole interview and be like, how am I gonna put these words together? Tracy's not only gonna read it and want it to obviously reflect the conversation we had, her whole mama, Diana Ross, is probably gonna read it, like all of these people, and so it's not just like, la-di-di-da, like I get to hang out with Tracee Ellis Ross and then I go home and lay down. I now have the weight of the world of putting that story together. So it is a lot of hard work, you know? So I think people don't see that as well. And like even with Essence, I was telling this story last night at dinner. You see someone's resume and you're like, oh, she worked at Essence, she's at Cosmo, she's at the Huffington Post. I was like, Essence rejected me 3 times.
What?
I applied to work at Essence 3 times and they said no. And I cried every time. I was devastated. I was like, why am I not good enough? Like, I know I'm good. And then I had to let it go. This is great advice. Sometimes you just have to like, people will see your magic when they need to see your magic. I just kept my head down. I kept working. And when I got that job at Essence, guess what? They called me.
Hey.
They called me and said, would you come here and be our fashion and beauty director? And that to me was like such a, one, answered prayer, but it was such a validation of like, I am doing the work, I am good, and not to give up. They said no 3 times. People would like pack it up and leave. I was just like, just keep doing the work, just keep going on, and it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I also was like, okay, I'm leaving journalism because I don't think I'm gonna make it. There were times where I was like, I don't know, I'm not getting these jobs. How am I gonna become somebody in this industry? And I was telling this story last night too, is that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pack it up, I'm gonna be a lawyer.
What?
Let's just be a lawyer. Like that seems like, it seems fancy, it seems cool, I can run this mouth, litigating for people. And I went and took the LSATs, the test you have to take to get into law school.
Ooh, those are really hard.
Tell me about it. When I tell you those scores came back, and what I wasn't gonna be doing is becoming a lawyer. It was like, what, you're not getting into law school with these scores, Julie. Just stay the course, do the work, tell the stories, and your life, trust the timing of your life, and the things that are meant for you will be yours.
That's actually really beautiful advice, because rejection is a huge part of every person's story. You know, it's nothing anyone wants to highlight on Instagram or anything, but it happens, and how you bounce back from that, what you do with it, and the importance of just doing the hard work, and something will eventually catch up with it, because if you stop doing the work, nothing can catch up with it. And then angry and then you're resentful, but you gotta keep doing the work and God will eventually meet you where you're supposed to be at. All right.
Absolutely.
So, Julee, let's talk about your personal life, but not too personal.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
I'm an open book.
Work-life balance is a big topic for women. Shout out to all my mothers out there, those who are raising kids, doing jobs.
Women, working moms.
It's not.
Come on,
easy.
clap, y'all.
Yeah, guys.
They are out there.
Hey guys, you can clap for the working moms too. You know, it's all right. You can clap for them; they deserve it.
You don't have to have kids for it to be tough, but
True.
the kids add a whole different
Whole new
element.
dynamic to it. So could you talk more about how you're able to balance a fun life, balance because you have 2 kids. She has 2 boys under the age of 10. You guys know, boys, all you boys out there that are suffering your mothers, eh? But she's got 2 kids under the age of 10. She's married, and she has a full-time job and like cool people that she does stuff with. So how do you balance all? Oh, and then coming to Nigeria just before Thanksgiving. How's that?
Well, I have to say, having the dopest husband is key.
Hey, we'll give it.
Like, I just have a great partner, right? I think it's about having a great partner where I'm like, I gotta go to Lagos for a few days. Like, are you gonna hold it down with the kids? And he's like, I got you. Like, he pours into my dreams, right? He's like, I know that this is your purpose and your dream to go out and talk about being extra black in white spaces and inspiring others to do the same. Go. I got it. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
There's drop-offs, there's practice, there's baseball, there's karate, there's all of those things, and he doesn't make me feel bad for chasing my dream.
That's awesome.
So I definitely think helping with that work-life balance, to your question, is having a dope partner, and I do. And he's fine.
Ooh. All right.
But also it's about having a really great village. Like, I'm telling you, like, my friends in the industry, which some of them are here, Sir John.
Hey, Sir John.
My family, my cousin Erica is here with me. Like, I can't do this without my village.
Yeah.
Right? Like, these are people that love you and believe in you as much as you love and believe in them. I'm like getting emotional about it because it's hard. Again, you see the glitz and the glamour and the covers and the this and the that of it all, but like, there's a lot of times you go home crying because you're like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if, like, you know, this opportunity is going to happen. And like, these are the people I lean on. These are the people I cry about to. My brother, Sir John, I'm texting him or calling him and being like, have you been in this situation? Even coming here, I was like, Sir John has been here. I can't believe I got this invitation to come to GTCO's Fashion Weekend, and he got on the phone call with him, and he was like, you have to go, it's amazing, it's gonna be the best time, the people, the place. Like, and like, I was like, say less, it's done. Like, got on the email, was like, yes, I'm coming. Like, that's my village, right? So it's the people, honestly, that help me get through anxiety, depression, whatever it is that I'm going through. It's the people and my fine-ass husband.
Woo! Well, may God bless us with fine-ass husband as well. Can I get an amen? All right, so you've had a lot of different roles within your career. You've been able to merge the writing with the beauty, with the influencing, I don't know, am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Social media content creation. I mean, you can find her in magazines, you can find her on Instagram at Miss Julee. Make sure you guys follow her. And we also see you know, now live. So with all of the jobs that you've had, what's the one thing that you wish your younger self would have known in order to connect all of, you know, to make your journey a little bit happier and a little bit stress-free?
I think, again, it goes back to caring about what other people think of you, or like trying to emulate them. I wish I could tell myself is stop worrying about what other people think, or, oh, that person doesn't like me, or I didn't get that job, like taking it personally. No. just stay the course, be yourself, and everything else will work itself out. So like, again, I think there's too much, like, even with social media now, there's too much comparison culture. We're scrolling all day like, oh, I wish I had skin like hers. Oh, my curls don't look like that. Oh, my waist isn't snatched like that. Oh, I wish my butt looked like that. Like, we're constantly comparing ourselves to people. And I love social media for the inspiration of it all and the storytelling, but I want us to get out of our heads about comparing ourselves to people. Yes, that's that person's life and blessings, but also make sure when you get in front of the mirror in the morning, at night, in between the days, whenever you pass a mirror or have some time for self-reflection, that you also give yourself grace and love. Because I do that a lot. Like, you know, like I'm always like, oh, my stomach could be flatter, like, or whatever, and it's just like, what? Like, this body created two human beings.
Yeah.
Who am I to talk so poorly about it?
Yeah.
Like, yes, my body is not what it used to be, but look what it did. And this might be my new normal, but like, then I look at my beautiful children, and I'm just like, I would do it 10 times over again because I get to see y'all. So I think, again, we just need to give ourselves grace and stop comparing ourselves.
That's really beautiful. Really beautiful. So now you're in Lagos, and you've seen, you know, what everyone's been talking about. And we that have been here, we've been watching the explosion of our culture. Not only our music and our fashion.
Y'all are lit in the United States.
Yeah, we're pretty lit.
Lit.
Yeah. Being Nigerian is like the new cool in America. It's like, oh, you're Nigerian. It's like, yes, I came from Lagos.
I mean, like, so everybody wants a part of this culture.
And they want a part of the culture because they can identify with it, right? They can identify with some of the sounds, the colors, and the way we put ourselves together, like our attitude. And can you maybe look into the future?
Yeah.
What is the future of African fashion, beauty, etc., in these predominantly white spaces?
I mean, they're already looking at what y'all are doing. You might not think that. I mean, beyond the music, they're looking at the social media, they're looking at the geotag of Lagos, Nigeria, and seeing what everyone's wearing, how they're moving, what they're doing at night. I'm telling you, white people in the United States are doing this. It's a part of them figuring out what's cool, what's the culture, how can we make money off of this, right? Which is why I'm also like, we also need to y'all need to own your culture and monetize it, and monetize that magic before they do, because they're looking at it like, okay, Burna Boy and Thames and like all these people, like, how do we capture that and make it a business? Whereas you guys should be the forefront of that. You should be at least at the table getting a paycheck, telling them what it is and how to do it with respect, right?
Very well said.
So I think in the future, it's just going to get more prevalent. So please think of yourselves as cultural ambassadors, obviously, and assets to a lot of companies that are trying to bottle what you guys just do naturally. We're just fly people. You're just fly people, but they're trying to figure out how to do that. So make sure you're the ones at the table. You're the ones making sure and getting paid for it, if that is what they want to do. But I'm telling you right now, like, it is the future. They are looking here. We talk about it all the time.
That's great. So, ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. The future is now. It's coming. Make sure you do the hard work. Take all the advice that Julie said. Make sure that you're being authentic to yourself and not giving up. But now I want to talk about the fun side. So I saw you had a little fun yesterday. I was on your Insta stories. All right. So tell us a little bit about your Lagos experience. I know you just got in.
Yeah.
But what have you eaten? Who have they made you wear? Have you? Yes. Beauty products. Like, have you been exposed?
I haven't. I'm about to.
Any beauty products?
I'm about to spend a lot of money out there, going and like doing all the things. I want all the clothes. We've been to the market. Samuel, my chaperone, brought us some. My cousin Erica and I to the market yesterday. Bought some clothes. We want to go back and get some fabrics. I need to get my husband the caftan.
Ooh, yes.
Y'all brothers look clean with that on. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Every time one walks by, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So definitely that. We went out last night. Where did we go, Sir John? Mako?
Mako.
Whatever.
All right. Oh, you guys were out.
A moist beat.
Yeah, they were at Moist.
Like
They was out in the streets.
The sun almost came up last night. I'm just.
Well, thank God you made it today.
I know. Now I actually like that I'm like first on the docket because now I can like relax and really like get lit.
Yeah.
So, but we've been having a lot of fun. It's great. I love the fact that I can share this with my followers in the United States to be like, come here, see the people, see the culture. It's so beautiful. It's such an amazing time. I think if more people come here and see this, their minds will be blown.
And the more you highlight like the bits of your trip to your audience, like the better it is for us. Like the better we treat you when you're here, the more it does. You're our little ambassador now to go and spread word to other individuals to come back and share information with us. Now, you have a lot of work that you've done. I want us to go through some of the slideshow so that we can describe some of your
I wanted to show you some of the covers I've done.
Woo, look at Hallie and
Chloe and Hallie, sisters. One was like the Little Mermaid.
Wait, can you go back? Can you go back to that other slide? Yeah.
Yes.
Is that Iman in the middle?
That's Iman in the middle, and then that's the cover I did with Tracy Ellis Ross. So not only is it really cool that I get to tell these stories with them, you spend the day with them. We were in the desert in California with Chloe and Hallie.
That's not just a backdrop?
No, we were in the desert.
Oh,
like,
wow.
There were like signs that said, watch out for the rattlesnakes. Like, we were doing the most. We had them in gowns. It was so cool. And then with Iman, that was an amazing shoot too. I don't know if you can see in the picture, but she's beyond just the braids she's wearing. She's actually like holding a bundle of braids like in her finger.
Can we get that picture back up?
So again, part of it is the storytelling that you'll read with the words, but also what's the visual story? We wanted to put the tribal like paint on her. This was
the jewelry.
This was a cover like right before Essence Festival, and so it was all about our tribe, and so we wanted to do that. But again, she's holding the hair. Tracy, this was we were celebrating the launch of Pattern Beauty, her hair care company. So I was like, for the beauty direction, I was like, hair, like the hair has to be insane.
Huge.
So I was like, let's do hair. The person who did our hair is Navasha. She actually did my twists that I'm wearing now too. But Navasha is an amazing celebrity hairstylist, and we were like, it's so much fun to work with the makeup artists like Sir John or Jawara, the hairstylist, who you can sit with and talk about like, well, what do we want to do? Do we want her afro to look like this? Do we want it to like point out to the side? It's such a creative and cool process that the visual can then match the story that you're going to read. And so the next slide, what's the next one?
Let's go over to the next slide, if you will, s'il vous plaît.
Okay, so this was
Naomi
amazing
Campbell.
cover. This is Naomi Campbell. I know
Yeah, we know her.
Naomi Campbell is.
We know her.
Yes, so this was a really amazing project for me because it was the launch of, do you guys know who Dapper Dan is?
We've had him on this very stage for twice.
Dapper Dan and I are very close. We actually live on the same street in Harlem. So we see each other all the time. He's always sitting on the stoop.
Awesome.
But Dap was launching his clothing collection with Gucci. So we were like, we need to have a Dap moment. That's a Dap
medallion.
Gucci chain and glasses. But we didn't want to put Dap on the cover, and he didn't want to be on the cover. So we were like, let's get Naomi. We're going to put her in Dap. That's also Carly Kushney. The dress is a black designer. And then I got, may he rest in peace, Andre Leon Talley to write the cover story. So Andre Leon Talley sat with Dapper Dan, wrote the cover story, had Naomi Campbell on the cover. Like, it was extra black and extra iconic, and it was amazing. And Jamel Shabazz, who's like a very iconic street style black photographer from New York City, shot it.
That's beautiful.
These are the type of things that we're working on at like the magazine. It's like, how iconic and amazing can we get it? Who are we tapping to create these images and stories?
And it makes it so much more deep and so much more special, you know, because looking at it face value, you know, it's a great picture, but when you realize all the little bits and all the very high-powered individuals you called in for such a project. It's really amazing.
And I got to dress Naomi Campbell. It's like dressing Black Barbie.
I know.
Like I'm in the dressing room with her, like putting on the clothes, and I'm like, it's like a life-size Barbie. This is insane.
That's great. So Naomi comes here quite often. That's another regular for Lagos, and Dapper Dan.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So this project is near and dear to my heart. Top 10 projects I ever worked on. These were digital covers, so these weren't on the newsstand, but we did these digital covers at Essence that I wanted to, again, making sure I'm being extra unapologetic about being Black and showing how we show up in the world. These are all Black beauty executives at like your favorite brands, L'Oreal, to MAC, to NARS, to Dove. You don't know that a lot of times you don't know that there are Black people at the table behind these brands working on them. So I said, I need to pull back the curtain, and I want to celebrate y'all and give you your flowers and thank you for helping push Black culture at these brands. And so these women are major executives at major beauty brands that don't get to be on covers of magazines. But I was like, we're changing that. We're going to get you glammed up, and we're going to put you on the cover of Essence.
That's really awesome. Really, really awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
hey, is that you? That's you.
If you read the headline, this was this article written about me in the cover tour that they sat down and did an interview. But again, I'm gonna be Black with my whole entire chest. I'm like, I'm not afraid to call out the beauty and fashion industry and saying like where these industries are being racist, where they're missing the mark. I always talk about there's so many blind spots. Like I'm like, there's a beauty ritual that most Black people and brown people do in the world every night. Put a scarf or put a bonnet on their head. What major mainstream beauty company, other than the Black companies, are making these things? If white women were putting scarves and bonnets on their heads, best believe there would be a whole aisle full of scarves and bonnets. But why aren't you meeting our needs? And I tell them, I was like, y'all, I go to these like board meetings with some big beauty brands. I'm like, y'all don't like making money. Because you're not meeting us where we are. I'm like, walk around one weekend and count how many people with braids and locks that you see. Now tell me at your company what products you have that would help me achieve or maintain that hairstyle. None. A white woman wears a hairstyle and she's got 1 million products for her. Why aren't you catering to us? And beyond just this mainstream white company catering to us, why aren't you investing in Black companies that are already doing the products for us? You should be buying them for hundreds of millions of dollars. You should be bringing them into, like those founders into your teams and paying them to develop lines. But like, why aren't you meeting our needs? So I talk about that a lot in front of people on TV, and so articles like this get written sometimes.
And these are the necessary, uncomfortable conversations that have to happen behind the scenes in order for us to be represented. And yeah, well done. Do you fear backlash or like being blacklisted, or no, you just do it with your full chest because you still do the work?
That's got
right?
me.
Yay, that's a good one.
Not really, because what I'm saying is truthful.
Yeah.
Like if I was saying some like
abusive.
inflammatory stuff that like didn't make any sense, what I say makes sense. And it not only makes like common sense, it makes money sense. So I think it might hurt your feelings, but it's going to make you a better editor, a better business person, a better brand if you listen to what I'm saying.
Well said.
Yeah, this was just the article I was telling you about where all of the people in the beauty and the fashion industry were talking. So that's that. Next one is, what is the next one? This is an article I did at Cosmo about how Black women intersect with beauty in a different way, which was really fun to write because so many times they're talking about like anti-aging and stuff. I'm like, Black people don't really like think about anti-aging like that. Like that's not something that's like really a concern. We have monikers like black is beautiful, black don't crack, like all of those things. And so I wanted to write a story to say, like, look at how dope we are and how we think about beauty. We also revere age in a way. Like if you ask people black people who their like beauty icons are, they're like usually older people. It's like Tracee Ellis Ross is older than me, her mama's definitely older than me, like all of these older women who were like, oh, but you don't see white people saying like Helen Mirren or Meryl Streep.
Yeah,
they're always talking about younger people.
Yeah.
They want to be youthful. And so I wrote this to say, look how dope we are, that as a people, our beauty is so self-referenced. And so if you go to the next slide, they did a collage on with all of these amazing black women who, Grace Jones, like who were like, these are the people that we look up to, and it has nothing to do with like youth or anything like that. We just love us, right?
Beautiful.
So, and
Beautiful.
This is in Cosmo magazine, which is very white, and I was like, I'm gonna be very black. So that's that. I think the next slide, this is a story I also did at Cosmo.
Got the scarves, bonnets, and such.
Right, and I was like, what mainstream publication is writing about how we protect our hair at night? We need to talk about this, right? And it was really fun. We did it kind of like a choose your own adventure. So if my hair is straight, if my hair is in braids, if my hair is curly, if I did a twist out, these are the different products that you might need. And if you're just like, I don't have time to put anything on my head, then get yourself a silk pillowcase. That's at the end. But I want to tell these stories for us. And I think the next slide is, this is my column that I have every month in Cosmo. It's called Yours, Mine, Ours.
Okay.
And it is the intersection between black beauty and, or black culture and beauty. And these are just two examples of like the soft life. I don't know if you guys talk about that a lot here, but in the United States, black women have been talking a lot about the soft life.
Oh, we love the soft life here, don't we, ladies?
Yeah.
Next person that leaves here owes me 5,000 naira. I'll wait for your payment after.
And I'm going to show you a video next about like how it works, but how I bring it to life. But like the first one is like about the soft life and talking about how we want to set down the strong black woman trope. Like I don't want to always be strong.
No.
Like why do black women have to be everything and everything to everyone? Like I want to have a soft life too.
Yes.
But while I'm looking for the soft life, here are some beauty products that give me soft hair and soft skin and soft lips, and a candle that gives me a soft spirit. And then the other one, I love this story. It's called Did You Lotion? And I love that in the black community, we consider lotion like a verb. It's not just a thing, a noun. We're like, did you lotion? I hope you lotioned before you left the house, because the last thing you want to do is be like ashy out in these streets, right?
Nope.
Because not only is it bad hygiene, but you're representing black people, right? And they're not just looking at me like, oh, Julie's ashy. It's like, oh, look at black people looking unkept and ashy all the time. And so lotioning and moisturizing to us is such like an act of like self-care and respect for our community. And I do a little video for each one of these columns, and the next slide is a video if you want to play it. Oh, this is about the Crown Act. This is also my column. And so the video on the next slide is the video I did about this, the Crown Act. Yeah.
Hey, your hair's cute.
Thank you.
So I guess we have to play the video.
Oh, you can go back and press play. Is it not playing? I think the play button's at the bottom. Is it not playing? It was playing earlier.
Oh man, seems
It's
like we
okay.
have a little technical difficulty.
It's fine. And then these are just, this is the last, the slide. These are
Lotto. This is the Lotto we've been talking about, guys.
That's Lotto in the red cover.
Put it on the floor.
And then you guys know SZA.
SZA.
So these are the two covers I've done so far at Cosmo. So
That's amazing. Can we get a huge round of applause for Julee Wilson?
thank you.
We've had a really good time this afternoon, but we have a couple more minutes left. I'm sure the audience has some questions for Julie. Let's see if we can get that mic passed around, or is this the one we're gonna have to?
Any questions?
Any questions? Yeah. All right. Someone gonna give her a mic? Perfect. Okay, so let's just improvise for now since we don't have a mic. Whoever's got a question, will you come up towards the stage so I can give you mine and we can talk about it? Or if you have a very good projecting voice, like if you can speak from your chest.
John.
All right, Sir John. You
Hey,
first.
I gotta give my brother a hug.
Hey, welcome. Here you go.
You're gonna give me a hug.
Hey guys. Bring it in. Hey guys, I'm Sir John. Sorry, my bad. I just want give it up for Julie, guys. Give it up for Julee Wilson. Come on now. I have a question for you. So, like, since we live in a digital world, and so many people in our community are storytellers naturally. Like we've always been storytellers, right? It's in our DNA. It's in our blood. What's the new way to tell stories? Is there a new vehicle? Is there a platform that everyone who wants to be a young journalist, start their own magazine, how can they tell stories that can actually reach us everywhere?
Oh my God,
Very good question.
That is such a great question. I think that is one of the best parts of my job is that I can wear all those different hats, right? It's not just putting words and sentences together for you to pick up the magazine and read it or read it online. I've had a podcast. Sir John's been on my podcast. I had a podcast when I was at Essence. And to tell stories in that way with spoken word and interviewing someone and bringing their stories out is really powerful. I tell stories, like I said, on Instagram, there's TikTok, there's Substack now. I don't know, you guys have Substack out here, which is basically like personal blogs that you can also monetize. Like, y'all need to get this. When I was telling Samuel last night, I was like, look, like, you guys have such a rich culture here. You're in such a beautiful place. Start making stories and content on your social media. And people, you'll build an audience, and I'm telling you, you can monetize this stuff. These companies, like I said, want what you guys have here. So if you build it, they will come. Just start telling the stories and start doing the things. And then, I'm telling you, some of these creators in the United States can put up one Instagram post and make $20,000 US.
Amen. We're trying to get there. That's what we're trying to get.
One Instagram post just because a company likes their vibe, likes their storytelling, likes what they're doing. Y'all can do that here. And those companies want to talk to this region of the world and this community. So once you start creating those type of like stories, they'll come and then you can actually monetize your magic. So definitely do that. I think that other ways of telling stories are also collaborations. You've done a great job with that, Sir John. Collaborating with brands to tell your story. So there's so many ways, just do them all. Maybe one won't stick. Like, I'm not really on TikTok. Like, it just makes me like, I mean, I like to scroll and watch it, but it exhausts me thinking I have to make a certain amount of different content on Instagram and then TikTok. I'm like, you're just gonna catch this Instagram like content and leave me alone on TikTok. But find what works for you.
Yeah. All right, well done. Next one. All right, whoever comes to the stage first is the person who's going to get the... Let's not trample each other, though, but...
So my question is, I love what you're doing. So it's about showing beauty where people are not seeing it and where they don't even want to see it. So, but you got to navigate. So can you like give us a little bit more detail on how you did it? Because... yeah, that's just it. How did you get them to find value in the story you're trying to tell when they didn't even want to see it in the first place?
Find value in the stories?
You're trying to tell when they didn't want to see it in the first place. Like they were
Like
all about...
individuals who aren't interested in seeing your content anyways, how do you get them to be interested?
My content or like the content in the magazine and stuff, like getting black?
Like black, yes.
I think it's, again, being like not sitting at the table and allowing your voice not to be heard. Earlier on in my career, don't get me wrong, I was just happy. I was kind of like just happy to be there. Like, just don't rock the boat, don't say anything. But as I got more confident in my work and my voice and like my dopeness, I was like, what I'm not doing is going to sit up here and allow you to put another white person on this cover for the 6th month in a row.
Amen.
Like, let's talk about like how we need to diversify, how we need to be more woke, but we have to be at the tables, right?
Yeah.
But if you get at that table, if you get in that room, don't allow the opportunity to slip by you. You have to open your mouth.
Yeah.
Because they need your perspective. They need you to say, yeah, that's cool, but can we use this model? Like, and have work to back it up, to say like, we've used black models in this many issues or this many stories in the past, and they were all, you know, had straight hair. We need curly, kinky hair this time, or we need different skin tone, or different height, or people don't even think about the diversity of like body diversity.
Right.
Can I get somebody with curves? Like, everyone's just so, like, it's great to have a straight, skinny model, but can we get someone with some butt, belly, arms?
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's also important.
Yeah.
Whether they're black, white, or otherwise. Like, let's show diversity in other ways as well. So open your mouth when you get a chance to.
Yeah. Open your mouth, but make sure you come correct as well.
Yeah.
Don't open your mouth and be all sloppy and not have your work done. Make sure everything is to the T, so that when the attention does come on you, you get, you have full impact. All right, next person. Come on up.
Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you. I was just, you said a beautiful talk about your life, your family, your business, and then you gave us an insight about the magazine you work for. So I just want to ask if you have any interest in collaborating with Africa brands, because I know we have a lot of good care products, hair care products, skin care products, makeup, and all sorts of. So I just want to know, maybe your magazine have an interest in collaborating with Africa business owners, enterprises.
Absolutely. I'm very excited about being here and walking around and talking to the founders and everything, because this inspires me to then go back, and you saw those pages in the magazine. That doesn't mean like one of your brands could be on there. Yeah. But it's also, I always tell people who want to be a part of the magazines and stuff, like, also make sure you're ready. Right?
Yeah.
Because, like, what happens if you get in the magazine and then all of a sudden you get 50,000 orders and you're like, I can't even fill this, right? Then I look bad, the magazine looks bad, they're like, why would you even put this in front of us if we can't order it, right? So be ready, be prepared for that type of exposure if you want it. But for me, also beyond like learning the other brands that are out here that I can bring back to the States and talk about, I think it's also about just also learning about how you guys intersect with like beauty here. Like, what is the thing here? Is it all about the eyeliner or the mascara, or like, are you using a certain ingredient in your skincare that we're not using back there? I think that's also what I'm excited about gathering here about. I'm happy to collaborate with anyone. I was just out there with this whole dress off, getting measured.
Oh, that's awesome.
Clothes that I'm gonna buy, so.
And that's why it's important that you guys follow her on social media, because this is a good way to connect, to see the kind of things that she's doing. So you're not just asking her, please, can you put my thing on your magazine? It's like, no, okay, let's see what she does. Where can we meet her in the middle?
So smart.
And
because a lot of people don't do that. Like, just know, like, I know your work. So I read last month in Yours, Mine, Ours that you did something about moisturization and lotion, right? I have amazing moisturizer. Like, I answer DMs all the time. People slide into my DMs all the time. It's a good way of networking. But also, again, know the subject, know what's going on.
yeah, because if it's something that she's looking for or interested in, you'll be chosen. Just make sure you're prepared and you're doing the hard work. All right, I think this might be the last question we can take.
Hi, so I wanted to ask about, working in the industry, you tend to have a lot of negative opinions.
Negative.
So being a creative, how do you deal with those negative opinions? And I know sometimes a lot of people say just ignore it or try and find ways around it. But, we all have our tough days, so I wanted to know how you tend to deal with it, especially with a lot of followers.
Yes. I don't know. I mean, like, it's hard. There's haters. There's gonna be haters everywhere. I mean, I've had superiors at my job literally pet me, like my hair. White people, I'm just gonna say. Like, that, it's like, it's not okay. I'm like, did you not hear Solange's song, Don't Touch My Hair? But those things happen all the time, and you just have to, like, you gotta grow, like, you just have to like get thick skin, right? Because you have to know that those situations are only just gonna make you stronger for the next situations that are gonna happen, because it's not gonna stop. There's just ignorant people and haters everywhere, right? But it makes me more, it makes it affect me less, right? Every time I go through something like that. But again, my village helps me out a lot. I probably cry like 2 or 3 times a week, just off some, just like, I don't know if I can do this. There's so much going on. I have so many deadlines. Like, am I going to lose my job? I mean, like, the publishing industry isn't the healthiest industry right now. So it's always hard to think about what my future is going to be, and it doesn't make it any harder when there's negative opinions and hate. But I think you just have to have a healthy, also, like, sense of yourself. Like, I'm dope because I'm Julie. Like, you want to be my friend and mess with me and work with me because I'm just Julie. What makes me doper is that I get to be the beauty editor at large at Cosmo, right? But that's not, they could take that from me. That's not my, like, I'm employed by a company, right? Tomorrow they can say, you know, that was great, Julie, we're gonna bring somebody else in and like, whatever. I have to know that without that title, without that job, I'm still dope and I'm still gonna be in Lagos talking to y'all.
Oh, yes, you are. Hey, and on that note, we have to say thank you. We have overspent our time. You guys have been an amazing audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was lovely.
We have to take our selfie.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. And he's going to